Hey everybody, still coming to you from the southern shores of Lake Superior up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, not far from Marquette here. Sitting around and thinking on vacation about, you know, what's going on at work, what's going on in life, and I was sitting on Twitter yesterday and a conversation came up that I thought was really relevant. Someone was asking me about focusing and being perceived as an expert. And I commonly have this conversation with people who there's two sides. There's the generalist side and then there's the expert side. And I think of it actually as having knowledge, more of a breadth of knowledge at the 100, 200 level, if you want to think about it in the university setting, versus people who want to have more of the master's level, 4, 5, 600 level in that setting. And so I think both are valuable, but the question to me is what should I pursue? The answer to me, it's actually a little more simple than that. I think the world needs both. I myself am a little more of a generalist. I think the way that my value presents itself is I tend to be 1 to 200 level in a pretty broad set of topics. And the reason I think that's important is because that means that I know enough in order to leverage people who are at the 400 or 500 level, who are more of the experts that we all perceive every day. I have an opportunity of leveraging those folks across different topics in order to kind of extract the value. It sounds dehumanizing, but I think you understand what I'm getting at. It's I know enough in order to ask the right questions in order to enable us to create some cool stuff together. And that's what I like to do because I happen to have a lot of interests across the board. Now, a lot of people also want to be the expert, and I think that's just as beneficial. It's just different. There is no prescribed notion of this is what you should pursue. My passion is in generalism, and so that's what I follow. A lot of people pursue. I know plenty of people who I've worked with who pursue taking topics all the way down. Their preference is, I want to understand something better than anybody else. I want to be the expert in that thing, and they think that's the key to their career growth. That might be true. They might become an expert in something, and then they're sort of the de facto. I have a problem in X. Oh, go talk to Bill, go talk to Bob, go talk to Sally, because they have the answer to those things, and I think that has a place in modern day workplace and even life when it comes down to it. But I also think it's equally valuable to be more of a generalist and understand, I do know a couple of things down to the 400 and 500 level. I would say, if I'm being truly self-aware, very few. I think my, value is more in the 100, 200 level where I understand I've gotten really good at asking the right questions of the experts to make sure that we can get down to that level without my necessarily having to understand it. So just to get the point across, I think the question is, what should I pursue? Is it more generalism or be an expert, and which is going to take my career further? Personally, in my experience, I think it's both. And the most important thing that you can do is follow your passion, because it's at that point where you're willing to put in the extra effort. You're going to want to learn something a little deeper. You're going to want to be available to answer more questions, whether that's, again, seeking more, like myself in the generalist terms. I find experts to help answer my questions, or if it's more you want to dig deep and find yourself on a very specific topic. The one thing I will say is there's also the counter to that, which of course is with the generalist, there's not a lot of topics I know all the way down, and so sometimes when it just depends on me, that becomes a problem. But the flip side is on the expert, sometimes if all you know is one thing and you've really gone all in on that topic, it's harder to pull yourself out of it and think across the board. And so I think there are drawbacks to both. And there are people, I'm sure, who are kind of a mixture of both. They're more the 300 level, if we keep using this analogy. But again, I don't think you have to choose this based on what your assumption is that everyone else wants to know or wants you to be. I think what you have to think about is, what would I rather do, and which passion would I rather chase? Because I think at the end of the day, that's going to get you significantly farther than trying to pursue what you think other people want you to be, which again is just an assumption, and I challenge that assumption. I think true happiness is going to come out of you being you racing the race that you want to run, and following the topics that you're truly interested in. Whether you want to follow that at a surface level or deeper is totally up to you. So don't listen to others, listen to yourself, follow your passion, and I think it's going to take you a long way.